Men and women, serve one another. Respect one another. Foster self-control in your lives and in your minds. Now, right now, some of you are wishing that you had taken me up and headed to Clifton Mill for some pancakes. I want to read to you a constructive piece of criticism that was set to me recently after I spoke about modesty. This woman wrote to me, "I'm just not seeing the message of grace presented in these purity and modesty teachings. Why did Jesus die on the cross? We are righteous because of Jesus, not because of our works. I'm all about waiting to have sex until marriage and using common sense in dressing in a manner that is respectful to yourself and those around you. But these are conversations that play such a minor role in the fabric of our lives. The gospel is about Jesus and God's grace. It is not about purity and modesty." My heart pondered, is the way that I teach modesty and purity lacking grace? Is the way that you're living it out lacking grace? 11 years ago, Bob and I founded a Christian high school called Grace Prep. We founded it for many reasons. One was that as I was traveling the nation and speaking again and again and again, there would be at one of my sexual purity retreats for teen girls, a girl who was pregnant, a girl who was broken and repentant, and her heart was ready to come into the hospital of the church and be healed, and there was never a more important time in her life for her to be nurtured. And yet, she was about to be kicked out of her Christian school, or she was about to be ostracized from her youth group. Bob and I took seriously the tears that we saw in every single one of those girls' eyes. And we prayed, Lord, show us. You know, we came to a passage in 2 Corinthians that has informed the way that we approach sexual sin. And it's a passage that's, in 1 Corinthians, Paul hears about this man who's having sex with his father's mother. And he says, kick the man out. He is arrogant and proud of his sin. It is the arrogance and pride as much as the sin that Paul hates. But then in 2 Corinthians, we see this unusual thing that you never see in the church today, hardly ever. Paul says to invite that man back in, to give that man the full rights and privileges of the body of Christ once again. And do you know how much time there is between the writing of those two letters? Months, not years. Months. When do we kick the pregnant girl back in?